Hey, what's going on, guys? Not looking forward to this. This is the final boss of patch notes. Like, this is probably, I think it is the longest patch notes I've ever attempted on this channel. So I guess we'll see how I do. Um, so this is 8.7, the mid-season update. I think this is a really solid patch. I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on. Excited to get into it, but it is probably going to be pretty difficult to get through this all. But let's go, dude. I'm hype. Ow. Sorry, I have a headache. So the Stranger Things Battle Pass, I think it's pretty cool. And I'm not the biggest fan of 11. Hopper looks okay. I really like the monsters though. This skin looks a little bit better. Her head just looks weird in this skin, dude. Not just on the card art. I mean in the model game, it just looks kind of odd. Then he's got, Hopper PI Apollo. That's some drip. That is a drip right there. And then the Loki skin. Oh my god. I mean, not gay, but bruh, bruh. And then this Morrigan skin. Absolutely awesome. I think this is so sick. Like, seriously, talk about giving a great skin for their first skin. That doesn't roll off the tongue very well. So you can insert some other phrase in there. And then this awesome Poseidon skin, which I think is really cool. I think this is based off the skeleton of his limited skin, so I think he's riding something on this. I haven't actually checked, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. And then, ooh, Sunny Side Up Bacchus. So I think he's got, how many foods is he? So he's got Pop-Tarts, donuts, croissant, bacon, strawberry, blueberry, pancakes, maple syrup, of course, cinnamon bun, fried chicken, waffle, egg, and I think that's it. Wow. That's beautiful right there. This is just a thing of beauty. I'm not the biggest fan of these, like, completely ridiculous skins, but this one's pretty nice. And then this Morrigan skin. Oh. Then this Morrigan skin right here. Bruh. Bruh. You kidding me? Like, this has got to be... This is a joke, right? Like, they didn't actually add this skin to the game when I'm a player. Like, beef. It's not coincidence, I'm telling you. And this is a pretty nice Turnabout skin. I don't know if it's like one of the best skins in the game, but I think it's okay. I think it's kind of a boring, like, you get a skin of this theme in every class, and otherwise it's just other than that it's kind of boring, honestly. Then this Emoja skin, just super pretty, super cute. I love it. And then this Kukulkan skin, which I think is really funny. Again, a little too crazy. No, well, a little too goofy. I shouldn't say crazy. A little too goofy for my liking, but I think it's okay. And this Daji skin. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. There was a little bit of an issue. She looks a little funny in game, unfortunately, despite the, the mouth to titty resuscitation going on there. And then this Jinger skin, which I think is awesome. I think this is so sick. Like, this is the opposite of these tech skins. Like, you could just keep on making these for every god, and they always look awesome. Like, there's just always different things you could do with the theme in every respective character. I think this looks incredible. Is it probably her best skin? I mean, the pool party one is super cute. The goth one is really funny. The demon one's cool, but I think this one trumps the demon one, definitely. This is just the better version of that sort of aesthetic. Yeah, I'd say this is probably the best Jing skin, honestly. So let's get into stuff. So some quality of life stuff. So, players above D1 will be reset to D1. Crazy. Players above 2400. Yeah, so the reset isn't going to be as crazy this time, because it really messed things up last time, apparently. I'm not a ranked player, so. And then increasing band count from 5 to 6 in Duel. So the people were like, well, okay, where's our god pool now? Like, there's 12 bands now. This is a tenth of the entire, more than a tenth of the entire roster gone, just in the band phase. So, like, who am I supposed to be playing here, really? And there was some concern about that, and a lot of Duel players think, like, just make changes to the mode itself. Gold spooling of phoenixes, towers, things like that. Make changes there, and then give us some characters back to play. instead of just another band-aid fix, essentially. Bug fixes, I mean, there's just a ton, so I don't want to go into all those. And then there's the balance to the map to the mid-season update, and this is let's not get inspirational here, okay? So the Ocean's Fury Conquest update has a... Oh, I thought I said returned. I'm kind of out of it, huh? So yeah, there's aesthetic updates to the map, and then Duel Lane has a new side jungle area outside of the lane. I think this is similar to Beta or Alpha. I think Beta or Alpha, one of those two. I think maybe Alpha. As the landmark area here is washed away by the wave, Duel Lane Harpies have had their pathing adjusted to split into 2 Alpha Harpy spawns, so there's 2 instead of just 1. One that favors each team. That's cool. Makes sense, instead of just having one big one. Solo Lane has a new XP camp area marked by a wrecked ship on the environment. That's cool, instead of just making it like a rock formation or something. Back Harpy location on red buff side has been adjusted to make room for a new camp. Nice. The map's lighting has returned to its 8.1 state, thank God. I really didn't like the drip and drab of, I think Tiamat, right? When she came out is when it changed. I didn't really like that change. I mean, when 8.1 first, when Season 8 first dropped, it was just vibes. Like, it was just back to almost like Season 1 type vibes, where it was like autumn type of thing. And I really, really liked that, so I'm glad that's back. Various sea life, scatter across, okay. Vine walls have been removed. Really, I think this is one thing that gets kind of glossed over. Like, vine walls have been removed. Wow, okay. That didn't last very long. But yeah, they were really felt like a hindrance, you know? Like, balance-wise, like, when you're looking back at it, it's like, oh, okay, you know, I can see why these vine walls are there. But then going in-game and, like, playing with the vine walls was so annoying. Like, it was just such a hindrance, dude. And then there's a new objective on the map, Draugr, which is, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of this objective, and I'll let you know why after we get into it. The aquatic entity has risen from the deep to challenge the gods. Slaying it grants your entire team Draugr's boon. Could have just said Draugr's buff, but whatever. Towers and Phoenixes receive a stacking buff of 7% increased power and 5% damage mitigation, so it's just straight damage mitigation, for every allied god within the radius. Stacks up to 3 times and lasts 240 seconds, which, if my math serves me, is 5 minutes. Right? Am I right about that? Hold on. It's 4 minutes, right? Yes, it's 4 minutes. So for 4 minutes, yeah, okay. So less than Fire Giant, which is 5 minutes. Okay. And then, so the total stacking goes up to 21% increased power, which is pretty significant. That's an entire fifth of its power increased. And then 15% damage mitigation, which is actually pretty big. Unless it's like hyper late game against an EFG team. And so this spawns in the new Duel Lane side jungle area. Cool. It has, you know, pretty low health base, pretty low power, pretty low physical protections. This is like a little bit tankier than the Scorpions, I think. So scaling for every 1 minute. You know, one thing, I don't know if they said it anywhere. Does this start scaling when it spawns or when the game starts? I'm not actually sure. Yeah, pretty significant scaling on this health-wise. Otherwise, though, not exactly massive. More so, the buff is massive that it gives you. So keep in mind, this is on the opposite side of the map to Fire Giant. So the reason I didn't really like this too much is because it really doesn't give you much XP or gold at all. But the thing is, like, if the enemy team goes for Fire Giant, they're definitely going to get it. Draugr right away. Or if the enemy team's super far ahead, they get Draugr and then just go for Fire Giant afterwards. Of course, on separate sides of the map, you can't just like go straight from one to the other. That's not really a thing. Especially since the map has gotten bigger with Season 8, and now it's even bigger with these side areas. So you can't just go straight from one to the other. But if you take this off the map, the enemy team is a little bit more ahead, and then there's literally nothing you can do. Like, then this just doesn't matter because, like, they have Fire Giant, and you can't get the buff that's meant to stop easy sieging, right? And if you get this and the enemy team's still far ahead, I think EFG just kind of shits all over these stats. Does that make sense to you guys? Like, I don't think this seems like a band-aid solution to EFG just being way too strong. And like pre-EFG, this objective doesn't really mean much, in my opinion. You know, again, we'll have to see. We'll have to play around it. Because, I mean, again, I really don't think these stats are very strong. I think it's just going to kind of get one shot and then just, you could just wait out the buff. Or just play through it with the Fire Giant buff of your own. And then Oni, like Oni waves. I think it would help against Oni waves, but I don't think it's going to help against Fire Giant. So new jungle buff, support, green buff. So this is going to be a green buff. Green buff was a thing, and that was in the side jungle back in Alpha, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. So while wearing this buff, jungle buffs on nearby allied gods will not expire. But of course they'll expire when the support buff expires, so keep that in mind. This effect does not apply to other support buffs. Interesting. I mean, I think that kind of would go without saying, but yeah. Also grants 50 maximum health and mana, plus an additional 30 for every 50 total protections on the wearer. And Enhanced gives you 10 HP5 and MP5. Could probably boost that up a little bit, 15 or 20 maybe, because it's Enhanced, right? Like, it's supposed to be a pretty significantly stronger version of that buff. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty cool buff. I mean, it extends, like, your... say you're in mid, it extends, you know, a red, or extends a speed buff, or extends a purple buff if you're in dual lane. Things like that. I mean, it's a pretty cool little buff. I don't know if it's really that impactful. It does seem a little weak. Maybe something a little bit stronger could have been given, but they don't want to, like, overtune this and make support super strong. Supports are already pretty strong. So, and of course, it also... it very much encourages with the every total 50 protections on the wearer. Completely encourages only supports to be getting this, so that's good. It just says balance. Well, that's why we're here, right? Enhanced damage buff, increase the lifesteal. Why, man? Why? Stop giving lifesteal out. Like, you gave lifesteal to Magus for no reason. Now we're giving more to damage buff. Like, why, dude? Okay, wait. This one we get. This one we deserve, okay? Speed buff has been nerfed so many times. And with an upcoming change you'll see somewhere down there, that's going to be pretty important, the move speed. Then enhanced mana buff, increased maximum mana bonus from 10% to 15%. I mean, like, that... I wouldn't want them to give any more CDR. I would not want that, ever. But, I don't know. Like, you just don't run out of mana with blue buff on anyways, unless it's early game, and you're just like constantly spamming abilities as King Arthur or Guan or something, right? So I don't know. That doesn't really feel like it's very impactful. Fire Giant, and so technically they're buffing Fire Giant, but that means it's nerfed for us, so it's less easy to get. So increase the max health from 6,300 to 6,600. Increased physical protections from 110 to 120. Increased magical protection from 70 to 80. So this was another thing that, just making sure I didn't miss an EFG. No, okay. So this was another thing. So if they can just get Draugr in response to your Fire Giant, well, no, the thing is, if you get Draugr, you probably can't siege without, if the enemy team gets Draugr, you probably can't siege without Fire Giant. So you want to get Fire Giant more, but Fire Giant is becoming more tanky, so isn't that just going to create more Fire Giant dances that we saw back on the old map? And we were just stagnating for like 20 minutes straight. Isn't that just what's going to happen here? Aren't we just creating that situation again instead of just fight for FG and then get FG then go? You know? Like, I think we're going to be going too far the other way from get FG and steamroll. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's going to be an even bigger... well, a similar back and forth to what we've seen in the past, where it's literally 20... almost 30 minutes some games of just sitting around at the FG because no one wants to actually start the FG because it's so hard to get. So, this isn't a catastrophic, catatonic, scientific anomaly, right? Like, it's not the biggest buff known to man, but going in this particular direction is maybe not what we want to do. But anyways, you know, of course, that's another thing I think we can really discuss in the comments, because it's just a prediction, right? I mean, we don't know for sure until we play around Draugr, new Fire Giant, things like that. So the Gold Furies got increased by 250 health and increase protections from 30 to 35. So that's a nice little boost to their protections. I feel like Gold Fury already, I think, was tanky enough. I mean, it's not like Fire Giant, right? Like, this is Gold Fury. I don't think they needed to boost defense on Gold Fury too much. In terms of the Scorpion, though, I think they definitely should have touched that, but I don't know if they needed to up Gold Fury's health. Then Oracles increase max health. Ugh. They're such a pain to get. They're very, very, very impactful. And maybe that's sort of a problem that they're that impactful, because it literally just gives you uninhibited vision of an objective, right, for free. In fact, you get paid for getting these, right? So, insanely strong buff. But, I don't know. Increasing it to 6, it's going to be so boring trying to get those with your mid laner until you get, like, an item or two. But yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a very strong buff. But they're kind of showing we want to keep this buff in the game, but don't want it to be too easy to get. Or, like, easier for the enemy team to come over and split because it takes longer to get. Okay. So they're buffing less for Scorpion, which is good. So this is actually pretty interesting. They're increasing the healing effect from 10 to 12 per tick. Really nice. I mean, how many times is a tick? Like 8 or something, right? So 8 times 2 is 16, right? No, I was kidding. I didn't actually take that long to do that. But yeah, so 16 extra HP. So that's nice. And then make it less tanky as well at the start, and then with scaling as well. So a lot less tanky too, which is really, really nice. But they didn't increase how much gold it gives you. If you 3-man split this, it's like 6 gold or something. So they're kind of reinforcing the fact that they want this to be a sustain tool and not just an extra piece of farm on the map for you to get in, get out with your jungler or something. So that's nice. That's an interesting way to approach that. So Alpha Harpy, so yeah, there's 2 Alpha Harpies now, so they got to do this. Decrease the max health from 630 to 580. Decrease the protection, physical protection. Decrease the reward pretty significantly, XP-wise. Wow. Then a little bit gold-wise, and then decrease the health scaling. Yeah, that all makes sense. I don't know. Does the attack speed debuff really need to be there? I don't like that. I feel like that's just stupid. Like, if you get enough pressure to go for an XP camp like this, like, why are you being punished for that? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want people to be steamrolling, then just don't have an XP camp, like, right there in lane. You know what I mean? So, okay. Classic Joust and Duel. I did want to make a video on Classic Joust, but it was just so ass to play that I didn't want to. So, basically what I was doing in Classic Joust, I was just going, like, Warrior's Axe and Warding Sigil and rushing Emperor's Armor and just running into towers and phoenixes and ending the game. And there was nothing the enemy team could do, really. It was very, very boring. It's a terrible, terrible map. The Classic Joust map. It's vibes, no doubt. Like, I really love the aesthetic of Classic Joust. I think it's awesome. I think they totally missed that on the Chinese map. Tried to bring it back again on the newest map, but didn't really bring it back. But yeah, the newest map was definitely the best one by a mile. And then they just brought Classic Joust back when it's clearly the worst. And they're saying it's an experiment. It's an experiment. But it's trash. It's just a trash map. Okay. Anyways, Classic Joust and Duel. Once a Phoenix is slain, all ranged auto attacks now pass through its pedestal. That's just normalizing it with other maps. Why the rest of the map isn't normalized with it, you know, with how buffs spawn, how the buff camps are geographically, I don't know. The Benevolent starter item and both of his upgrades are now banned. Good, that was like a dual thing. It was pretty cringe, honestly. And then the arena has had a complete visual overhaul to match the Stranger Things crossover. And the 3 lowest XP members of the team will now receive 1 extra bonus XP per second. Dude! I could just go diving again. Bro, I could just dive into their Phoenix and just get XP. I'm so down. Anyways, Meditation Cloak is getting a rework. How about that, guys? Oh, and the upgrade actually does something now. Wait, let's cover that. So, now with this active, with this relic, damn it, you enter a meditative state where nearby allies gods, wait, what? Within 50 units restore 8 plus 5% of their missing health and mana each tick. Heals occur once every second for 4 seconds. So this is actually a really impactful relic once people are at low health. So it's sort of to discourage like just topping people off with health, because like that was a bad strat anyways with meditation. It's just supposed to you know, encourage people who think meditation is the truth to do it when people are low health instead. So it's missing health and mana, which I think is huge. I think the mana part is actually really impactful, because like getting mana back isn't really a thing in Smite. Other than Death's Toll, there isn't really like Death's Toll and Blue Buff. There isn't really a way to like get mana back quickly and easily. But now there is with Med. That's really interesting. So it says nearby allied gods. Does that include yourself? I actually don't know. I might whip the PTS up for that. And then it's a 160-second cooldown, which makes sense. So this is really solid. It's just I do wonder. I'll have to feel out for myself. I do wonder how this is going to work into execute, because that's for me what meta's been for some time now, is into executes. So we'll have to see. Like you probably can't meditate, meditate bait anymore. Metabait. So because it heals so slowly, but like, does it heal fast enough? If like when you see Athena going up into the air and you're like, oh, come here, buddy, let's get some heals for you so you don't get executed. Is that going to be quick enough? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Feel it in game. And then for this, the upgrade, additionally, each pulse reduces cooldowns for all abilities by 0.5 seconds. So it's each pulse for 4 seconds. So I mean, that's real nice. So say like you do a fight or something, everyone's like half health or so, you all group up around for this meditation. I mean, that's a pretty huge swing if you get the full meditation off. So when it says meditative state, is it maybe like old ages or something where you're just sitting there and maybe you can be hard CC'd out of this and things like that? Actually, a lot of testing could be done into this meditation cloak. New video, good work. All right. Next up, Sundering Sphere is getting a rework. It says rework, but it's just kind of like a touch-up. It's not getting fully reworked. So, fire a bolt that travels 70 units, stopping on the first god hit, dealing 10% of the current health as true damage. That's pretty nice. Reducing any active shields by 50%, not just eliminating them, which is nice. You know, as a character that uses shields, which is not many, it was pretty unfair that you could just, get sundered and your entire shield was gone. And then targets take 10% increased damage for 5 seconds, stacking 2 times, and this relic does have 2 charges. So this sounds absolutely bonkers in theory. So it's more of an on paper thing, but I don't like the fact that it just shifts that it just shits all over shields. Like, I don't like having one relic. Like, I don't even like Phantom. Like, let Odin Cage be a thing, right? Like, it kind of feels like, why have player-made walls in the game when you can just have Phantom? Why have shields in the characters who have shields in their kit when you can just sunder them? Well, when the shields are really important, like on Hera or on Nike. Why do these characters even have these attributes when you can just press one button and they're gone? Like, it's just a little annoying to me. But talking about the other things about this, 10% increased damage, stacking 2 times, up to 20% increased damage. That could be crazy in the jungle. I think I might just, whip out a Tsukiyomi real quick. Hit him with, 1 auto, 2 stun auto, and then it's like double sunder and then ult. Like, whoo-hoo! That could do a lot of damage. Or maybe just like walk up to them 2 and then double sunder then ult. I don't think it's not instant, right? You can't just go and there's 2 sunders out. It's not that fast, but that's definitely very strong. And then the upgrade is even more. So reduces any active shields by 75% instead, and then they take 15% of their current health as true damage. Again, you could do it twice. Kind of crazy. So I think when Sunder was good before, Sunder is going to be absolutely incredible now with this. I don't know. There comes a point where there's aggressive relics, and that's fun, and there's aggressive relics that just feel oppressive. We'll have to see, which characters this is actually good on. If it's just like something supports get, we'll see. Bracer of Fun Doing is gone. No more Bracer of Undoing. It's a shame. It really is. It was a cool little item, but it's gone now, unfortunately. Replaced with Bracer of Radiance, which isn't at all like Bracer of Undoing, which is a little unfortunate. You know, they didn't even try to just like rework this and then call it something new. But anyways, new relic, Bracer of Radiance. Place a radiant glow at a target location for 90 seconds. Allies who move through this field gained 10% increased power if above half health, or 10% move speed if below half health for 8 seconds. Don't love things like that because it's just kind of like happenstance, right? Like, you can want to fight and have below half health, you know what I mean? So maybe you want the 10% increased power, but whatever. This fragment acts as a ward. If destroyed, the cooldown of the relic is reduced by 20%. It only has a cooldown of 100 seconds. So this is actually pretty nice. I might actually try this out as like a support thing. Because, you know, when you lose the free ward, it does actually kind of hurt as a support. Because it's just like, I kind of want to hold on to this for a level or two and just get an extra ward out there. Just because it's so helpful. And now you can use this instead as a ward, and it gets even better with the upgraded version. And the Radiant Glow acts as a sentry ward in that case. And again, if it's destroyed, 20% reduced, and it's down to 80% for a ward. I mean, that's pretty nice, man. I like that. And then if you're going to walking through a sentry ward, you know, it does say they gain 10% increased power. Is that only when they're in it, or do they gain it for a certain amount of seconds? Maybe you want a description update on that. But regardless, I mean, that's really nice. You put this into a choke point or something, that's pretty good, man. Like, say you put it top left and your jungler walks into it, gains a power boost, and then goes in, and say if you have it upgraded already, he knows he's not on a ward, so he just goes crazy. That could be really cool. I think this is a really nice little relic. We'll have to see, of course, because Sunder, maybe that's going to be the preference for some supports moving forward, and we just go full aggression style. But yeah, I like this. You know, I'm happy. Me happy, me sad. All right, boys, here it is. Boots are gone. No more boots. No more shoes. This could just be an experiment. Only lasts for a patch or two, or this could be SMITE from here on in. We're on the ground floor right now of what might become SMITE from now on. So, players in all modes now receive 18% move speed over the first 7 levels, split up over the 7 levels. Wow, this is absolutely massive. Nobody, you know, people are going to make predictions and things like that, but nobody really knows for sure what's about to happen. What's going to be the new meta? What are going to be the best builds? What are going to be the best, you know, first, second, third items? You know, what order are we going to go in now? It's going to just explode SMITE into just a million new possibilities with this one change. And my feeling on this, and of course Elixir Speed's gone now, my feeling on this is that it is overall a good thing. I don't know how long you guys have been playing, but rushing boots, other than in you know, Book of Thoth, Warlock Staff, Devos, trans metas, other than those stacking items in those specific roles, it's always been rush boots first every single time since I think the alpha days. I'll be honest, I wasn't playing in alpha, but I was playing in open beta, and I know it was rush boots then. It was rush boots in season 1 when I picked the game up again. It was rush boots in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You get boots first. It's just what you do in SMITE. And so this is the number one way. This is the number one way to, I think, mix up SMITE, because it's always been you need boots now. They are too powerful to not get absolutely first. And don't think I ever mentioned it or had time to mention it, basically, because boots and shoes get changed so infrequently. But one thing I did want them to maybe change about SMITE is make boots less powerful, because it's just been the meta for so long. And that's what one of the things I did want from one of these seasons is to make boots less powerful. I didn't think they would actually just take them out. That's next level, and I'm actually really excited to see what happens with SMITE moving forward. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens, but to be honest, I don't see anything like bad happening from this. Like, what if they just straight up remove it? What bad is going to become of this? I don't think anything too terrible will become of it. I think only interesting and fun things can come of this, basically. You know what I mean? I don't think there'll be any cheese, anything like that. So, We'll see. Moving on. Nerf to Enhanced Spear. Which enchant... Oh, I thought it was Enhanced Spear. That wouldn't really make sense, huh? Enchanted Spear. Decrease the magical penetration from 10 to 5. Yeah. The finished items had 10, so I don't know why this had 10. That made it one of the best tier 2 items in the game, definitely. But increase the magical power by 10. Makes sense for a 1400 gold, making it 40 power, and then just bringing the pen down. Heavy Mace gets a Badurf. Because they reduced the price by 50, but decreased the pen from 10 to 5. Sheesh. Sorry, belt clear my throat. You know, like a lot of the maces, Jotun's ends at 11, or maybe they nerfed it to 10. I think it still ends at 11 pen, right? And then Crusher and Brawlers end at 20. So maybe making this 7 pen or something would have been better. 5 pen, really, and then making it lowering the price down to 1450. I think it's still 1550. I think this is a typo here. Pretty sure Heavy Mace is still 1550. So 100 gold difference. I mean, that's pretty bad. That this tier 2 is nowhere near as impactful now. At least in my opinion. I'll have to play around with it, but just early impressions, that's pretty bad. Ickval. Hello, Ickval. Oh, sorry. Totally just spoiled that. Ickval. Hello, Ickval. So decrease the attack speed reduction from 10 to 7 per stack, which, you know, kind of makes sense because, like, you do want the attack speed swing, right? When you're, you know, fighting someone, if it's like an assassin or a hunter, one of the points of the items is you outtrade them over a long trade. But, you know, the 30% attack speed reduction, if you got that fully stacked on a hunter, the hunter you stacked it on just felt worthless. They were just like, well, okay, I'm just going to turn around and, you know, go do something else now. It just felt completely pointless to try and fight someone who had Ickval. So they're reducing that a little bit because of, like, frustration factor, basically. But increasing the physical power from 30% to 30%, from 30 to 35. So instead of giving, is it 10 per stack or 15 per stack? Either way, this item still gets like almost 70 power when fully stacked. So that's really nice. I think this item's pretty nice right now. With boots being gone, maybe we see this in this place. I don't know. Mystical Mail, change the passive damage to scale with level now. I think this is actually pretty dangerous, boys. I think this is pretty dangerous. I don't want to see another Mystical Mail. What's it called? Meta. So it's +1 per level, so it's actually 10 more damage by the end of the game than what Mystical Mail is already doing. That could be pretty nasty on some of these Guardians and Warriors that just stay alive for 20 minutes straight. And I don't know if you guys are noticing, but so far, Warriors and Guardians not really getting massive nerfs other than the top 2 Warriors. Their item-wise aren't really getting nerfed either, so a lot of worried about that one. But let's Wingblade decreased crowd control reduction from 20% to 10%. Okay, I mean that's a thing. I don't know. Doesn't really feel necessary. Maybe just make it not 1850, make it more like 2000, and then that'll be just fine. 1850 I think is a little too cheap for an item with protections on it. Even if it is a low amount, I think it gives 20 magical protections. Staff of Mirrodin, small rework. I love this item. I think it's super cool. But it was a few characters could exploit it in really unfun ways. Like Giannis, just ult through a wall onto someone and double 2. They were guaranteed dead pretty much unless they had Aegis. So they're changing it up a little bit here. Decrease the magical power from 110 to 95. Keep in mind this still has a 10% CDR and 10% magical pen, so still a really solid item stats-wise. And the new passive, when your ultimate ability is finished casting, you gain Mirrodin's Brilliance. Same sort of idea as the original staff. But this provides 80% uncapped cooldown reduction, decaying to 40% uncapped cooldown reduction over 7 seconds. So, Giannis, hello? I know they just nerfed you, buddy, but I think you might have a new core item here, especially now that boots are gone. I think this could be crazy on some characters. I'll have to go ahead and think about it, but I'm thinking like Raijin, Giannis, Persephone, definitely Persephone. Tons of mages are going to absolutely love this item, and it's going to be absolutely crazy, I think, on some characters. And I am excited to see what happens with it. You know, use it for myself a few times, but I think this might be a little OP. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. Jeez. Decaying to 40% uncapped cooldown. I think this might be a little crazy, boys. Uncapped being the premier word there. Can you tell I've been recording for 35 minutes yet? Okay. New war flag. New old war flag. This isn't really like reworked at all. It's just some minor changes to it. I don't know why they called it reworked. Yeah, getting assist when an enemy dies provides a stack that gives 1% move speed and 2% attack speed for 8 seconds to nearby ally gods. Stacks up to 10 times. Okay, sounds about the same. But while at or above 4 stacks each time you damage an enemy god, you restore 15 health and mana to nearby allies within 55 units, and you gain 8 gold. That's really nice. Really, really nice. Question, does this apply more than once per ability? Ares? Poggers? Susano support? Mega Pog? Question mark? That's my question. I'm assuming it doesn't do it more than once per ability. That'd be a little goofy. If it does, support main, me, incoming. So that's really nice, actually. And this war flag is always like the slightly more aggressive support item, but like it didn't really benefit enough benefit you enough for you to go it. But I think now I think it does. I think these numbers are about right for what you want. Especially the gold gain. Gold gain is really nice. Whoops, went way too far. Then this is like more of the same, just percent increase on health and mana, which is really nice. And they refresh the duration of the stacks that way when you do that. Nice. Corrupted Bluestone is getting rework. This item still very much confuses me. And I don't think it's going to beat Bluestone Brooch anytime soon. So, decrease the power from 60 to 50, and now has a little bit of health on it, and then will now provide its stacking benefit for applying corruption, rather than actively tracking how many applications of corruption are active. This stacking benefit now lasts for 6 seconds. Okay, and that's the one that reduces attack speed. So, decreased attack speed provided per stack is 15 to 10. Okay, makes sense because you're getting it more. And stacks now provide 4% increased protections. I'm assuming to you, right? Yeah, the wording isn't very good on this, just like my voice right now. The wording on this is not great. It's very confusing if you don't already know what the item does. But yeah, so you gain 4% increased protections. You stack attack speed reduction. Cool, I guess. I mean, I think Bluestone Brooch is still going to be the one, unless this just does more damage than I'm remembering. So here's something interesting. Increase the heal on melee. Leave basic attacks from 50% to 75%. So I guess trying to bring this into the soul lane with some characters with AoE cleaves like Bellona, Osiris, maybe Erlong, but you're probably not seeing Erlong in the soul lane anymore. Oh, Mulan too. Who could forget my girlfriend? That's pretty cool, but I don't think this item is any good on most soul laners, or any soul laners compared to the other items out there. So Berserker is getting an interesting change, which I 155% agree with. This item can only be built by assassins and warriors. Yes, good. Do this more. More games in general, not just Smite. Do this more. Cut items off from other classes so they can't be abused. Brain massive. League of Legends, have you learned this yet? Iceborne Gauntlet Fizz was the stupidest thing, and you kept it in the game, and it came back in the meta. Are you stupid? Like, dude, Smite is setting an example. Smite gets trashed on so often, but it's setting an example by doing this, dude. Only be built by assassins and warriors. Thank God. The only reason this item was OP was because hunters built it, dude. That was the only reason. It was so stupid and annoying. Ugh. But okay. So they're increasing the attack speed from 15% to 25%. So an actual amount of attack speed that's usable for human beings for 2650, I think is the cost. And increase the protections from 20 to 35, which is still less than Glad Shield. But again, is usable. It's actually a protection item now that gives attack speed. Ooh. Okay, maybe 25% is a little high, but keep in mind that the cost is extremely high too. So maybe a bit of a win more item in that case. I guess we'll wait and see just how strong this is, but it seems good, and thank God hunters cannot build it. So Shogun's Kasari hasn't seen a change in quite some time, I think, but it still gets picked up, no offense, by some low-level players most of the time. I don't think I've ever seen it in the SPL other than maybe once or twice, just as like an experimental item. So it no longer provides crowd control reduction. Yeah, which I guess was a bit of a useless stat. It's just something that bloated the item up a little bit and made it made it have a benefit that it didn't need to have while bringing the other stats down. So now it provides a little bit of health, which is nice because it was the only item in that tree that didn't give health, if I'm not mistaken. So now it gives 150, which is the same as Genji's, I believe. And the attack speed aura is increased to 30%, which is just, that's really high. Again, I'm still not sure, unless this is broken. Unless this is broken and I'm not seeing it yet. I don't think this will be something you'll see often in Conquest. I think it'll still be something you might see more in Clash or Joust, siege-based game modes, basically. Serrated Edge getting a huge buff, 10 extra power on this item, which, I think is worthwhile given the fact that this is a 2650 item. Pretty expensive for what it is. So what does it give you? Let me think. So it's 10 per stack, so 30, up to 65 with up to 65 power with this passive. With 20% physical penetration is pretty nice, man. This is a pretty nice item. I don't think I would consider it OP or anything, but I think this definitely helps out a lot. And Serrated Edge characters are going to be feeling real good about this. Yeah, I do think 25 as base was a little low, but I think I probably would have buffed it to 30 and go from there. Don't think I would go for the full fat 35. Mannequin Scepter, my favorite item, dude. Let's get into it. So it increased the burn physical damage over from 12 over 2 seconds to 16, and then scaling off of your power over 2 seconds. Nice. That's a really nice buff. So they increased the burn damage and had a scale. So that's really, really nice for Mannequin Scepter. Because this item fell off way too hard for it to be considered good. Decrease the amount of stacks from 4 to 3 as a result absolutely makes sense. I think that's definitely a great trade-off. Absolutely fine. And then increase the health restored from 15 to 3% of your max health, and then increase mana from 15 to 5% of your max mana. Absolutely awesome. I think this is what the item needed all along for some time now. Yeah. I think these are some good changes to Mannequin. I'll have to jungle with it and get back to you guys about how I feel about the damage it deals and the sustain it gives you. But it's looking up. I think this is looking up. This might be something that's good for auto attack based junglers. And the Mannequin Mace, the upgrade. Now a similar idea. Health restored from 2.5 to 3% and 2.5 to 5% of your mana. Oh, typo here? Increased max mana restored from 2.5 to 5% of your max health. Is that correct? If so, that'd be awesome. Yeah, give me all my mana back. So Sentinel's Gift now, getting a massive buff. So because Benevolence is so good, they're buffing Sentinel's Gift incredibly hard. So 50 less gold, so an extra pot. Or just bank the extra 50 at this point because you have so much gold. You're not going to start boots anymore. So, and then increased both the magical and physical protections from 7 to 10. So 6 extra protections and costs less. That's a real nice buff to an item that was already pretty good. So Conduit Gem is also getting a small buff. Now provides 100 mana. That's nice. Yeah, Sands of Time, the sustain it gave you was just too obvious. It was just so clear that, like, oh, yeah, there's a bit of a sustain gap here, which I guess is kind of the point of the item, but moreover, Conduit Gem just didn't really give enough, but they didn't want to give straight regen, so they just gave it mana. Makes sense. That's good, a little trade-off. Just make it not have you use all of your mana in one go, it's basically. Vamp Shroud, they're buffing it again, and I don't know why. I think it's already a really solid item. I think they just need to literally wait for people to catch on and try it more, and figure out who it's best on and in what situations it's good in. Because I think it's already really solid, and I think this might be bringing it a little bit too far. It's already good for Guardians in the Soul Lane as well, So they're increasing the health by 25, bringing it up to an even 100, and increasing the physical protections up to 15. So on mages, this makes them genuinely very hard to kill early. You know, we'll have to wait and see what the jungle starts bring now, because I think they'll be a little bit more damage-based and less sustain-based than they are right now. So of course you're not walking around with tier 2 boots with a Boomba's dagger. Maybe we see a mix up to the Mannequin mace with like a tier 1 damage item or something like that. And then maybe this will make more sense in that situation. But right now I think this is making it a little bit too tanky. Blood-soaked Shroud. I kind of don't care about this. So I'm just gonna scroll. No. Increase the protections even more. Increase the health restore. From 12 to 2% of your max health. So really beneficial on Guardians, this item actually. So remove the bonus stacking lifesteal design passive, which could go on infinitely. I don't know if you guys remember that, but you could basically stack infinite lifesteal, in quotes, on this, which was kind of just unnecessary. So they made the general sustain better when you kill a unit, kill an enemy, and then just remove the lifesteal part of it. That makes sense. But then 55 prots? Am I going RTO solo like every game, dude? I'll try that when a new patch drops. And then Sacrificial Shroud, still a bit of a gimmick item in my opinion, but upping it to 115 power probably makes it feel a little bit better, but like you're not going to go this on anyone other than like Anubis and Morgan Le Fay, probably. Because those characters just have the built-in sustain to do this and make it work, right? It's not just like a gimmick thing where you're so far ahead that this is just for funsies, you know? Yeah, I don't really like gimmick items like this, typically, that only actually work on 1 or 2 gods, so. But maybe I'm missing the point. Maybe there's some magic sauce I don't know about. Let me know. Warriors X seeing yet another change. So now I think Warriors X is going to be nasty. So this goes at the passive bonus damage dealt and health steal from 30 to 35. Nice. Plus 1 per level. So since we start at level 2, it's actually 37 health. 37 health swing. So you see they're kind of going around Bluestone. They're kind of using Bluestone as the balance benchmark, and then just sort of balancing items around that. I think that's an interesting way to go about it. Other than on King Arthur, I do think that it's just the best item, and then items are a little bit below that. But keep in mind that with Warriors Axe, doing the starting at blue is pretty tough. It's pretty tough to do to start at blue without Bluestone, because you just get to lane later than the opponent, and then you just lose. So I do think that the passive itself is really good, and maybe it'll be good in some other game modes. Like I mentioned, I use this in Joust. Maybe it'll be good in other game modes in Conquest. I don't think this will be the one, given that the start will be the same in the solo lane. If the start maybe switches up, maybe we see this change. Adelantis is about getting a juicy bounce up to 40 power now, and this is a 2250 item, I believe, same as Xe, but has, I think, now double the power officially, or almost double the power. And then with a 10% physical pen, and then a really nice passive with the move speed to go along with it. That's nice. That's really nice. I think this is a cool item. Honestly, I do prefer this item over Xe. I think it's a little more hype, because this item just brings the Pentas. Like, Pentas just revolve around this item. It's just sick, right? I like having getting a kill with this, and then getting the Adelantis buff with maybe even with like a Bloodforge on you. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm getting this Penta, dude. And then you die anyways because you're me. But yeah, I like this item. I think it's pretty hype. But I don't want to see it just run games like it did Season 7 when it had 20% pen. I think that was Season 7. That wasn't exactly fun to watch. But I do want to see it be back. Just not as powerful as it was when it was at its peak. Leather Cowl, this is nice because like the mana sustain was like the thing that this was missing. And maybe that'll be enough, but I still don't think you'll be upgrading this item. I don't think you upgrade this at all. Warding Sigil, getting a buff, minus 100 gold, absolutely makes sense. This is purely a defensive relic, so I think it should be very, very cheap. I think, to balance it out a little bit. It is very effective in non-Conquest game modes, though. I'm wondering if they just made this with non-Conquest game modes in mind, because in Conquest, this doesn't really work very well. Because you just don't deal enough damage back to enemies, right? But it is nice for tanking up waves and stuff like that. I mean, maybe you could get away with it on like Cowl because he's a ridiculous character or something. But like, it really just doesn't work out, you know? Like, in theory, you look at it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take no minion damage. I'm not gonna take any damage from the opponent either. This is gonna be great. But it just doesn't matter if you're not dealing any damage, you know? So, unfortunate. It is really fun in other game modes. So, like in Clash, I was playing Warding Sigil Cowl, and it was just hilarious. I didn't take any damage. And in Joust, too. Tainted Steel getting another buff, which I don't really... well, it's a Nerf, again. But yeah, this item is pretty strong. It's just a little overshadowed right now, and I think people are really going to start to take notice of it now. But I think it's been decent for some time. So now you get 15% healing reduction instead of the full fat 20%, but you are now healed for 100% of the healing reduced. This is I think this might be the next soloing item. Genuinely. So it has really decent base stats, 15% of each, 15 of each protection, 15 power, physical power, and now you're reducing the sustain from the enemy, which sustain might come from maybe, hey, they have a Warrior's Axe, or the Bluestone HP 5. Oh, what's that? You're still buying health chalices in the soul line as well, and the multi-pots as well. You're going to be stealing all of that sustain away from your opponent. And you have all these base stats, like the protections and the little bit of power, so you can keep up in the defense and damage regards, but you're taking away all of their sustain. Maybe it's built in, like a tier or something like that, so you steal that healing away too, and you just be omega aggressive. Will it work like that? I need to play it myself and find out, but I think this might actually be nutty. I wouldn't put any bets on it just yet, but I think it might just be the next Soul Lane thing. Excuse me. Tainted Amulet upgrade. I mean, these upgrades are just kind of whack because they like favor one protection over the other. It's a little weird. Increased the healing reduction from 20% to 30%. Makes sense because it's, you know, starter item upgrade. These are power items basically. Then Tainted Breastplate upgrade, just to boost to the defenses. That's cool. I think this is the one that heals you, right? Or this is the one with Omega. Oh no, this is the one with Omega anti-heal. This is 50% anti on it. And this is the one that heals you. Okay. And if it heals you for the reduction, an increase in reduction will heal you for a lot more. Which makes sense. Okay. This one might be it. GBH. Yeah. Maybe we do upgrade that. I'll try that out. Jade Emperor seeing a change, which I don't like. I think it's just kind of anti-fun. Just straight up reducing the power from your lane opponent, or, you know, if you're a support against the enemy ADC and stuff like that. Because there's literally no counterplay to it at all. Because you just get in their face and their powers reduced. Wait. What's that? Huh? I'm CC'd? Oh no, it doesn't matter. Your power is still less. What's that? Oh, I'm 1 HP? No, it's fine. Your power is still less. I live. Yeah, I kind of hate it. I kind of hate that idea of just reducing power just because, you know. So they increase the health from 150 to 200. Just remove the item, please. Tyrannical Playhelm. Yeah, Tyrannical was like 2,600 for like no reason. So they changed that to 2,400. Oh my god, I'm only getting to Gauze now. Heavenly Reflection increased the charge rate for taking damage to 4 to 4.5, so you get more charge for every hit. I'm going to try and go quick here. Increased charge gain from hitting an enemy, so more beneficial for, like, you know, 2 dash-in autos. Charges up quicker, and you get more for each hit. That's cool. I don't think that was really an issue for her, but okay, I get it. And then increase the base damage on her ult. This, I absolutely understand. This, I don't think was really necessary and not really the problem at all, because the thing is, if you can get in and get a fully charged 2, that's great. But like the problem is that even if she gets a fully charged 2 on them, she still lost the trade, which was the issue because she can't really use Bluestone very well. So she gets out traded by Bluestone gods. So this helps out a little bit. This I don't think is helping the problem at all. Artemis getting small buffs here, increase the base damage pretty significantly. So this is per tick, so 2 per tick. That's pretty nice. Then decrease the cooldown, which is the big one. The cooldown starts at 18 seconds. I actually didn't even realize that. So it starts at 14 seconds now, which I think is really solid. I think that's a good... this isn't really a middle ground. It's kind of a huge buff, but I think it's a huge buff that should have been made some time ago, because that just kind of makes sense. Because her traps are just a big part of her survivability and, you know, trying to do some anti-ganking, right? Like, just not get jumped on all the time. The traps are a good way to go about doing that. So then increase the move speed from 20% to 25%. That's nice. I don't want to see this get too crazy, because Artemis does still have really high hypercarry potential, and you don't want to see, you know, a hypercarry with like 30% move speed. So I think 25% should be as high as we go with that. And then decrease the cooldown, which I think is smart, because if we're increasing the move speed, that means, you know, you can both be more aggressive and more defensive at the same time. So decreasing the cooldown by 2 seconds and then having it end up at the same amount, I think that makes sense. That's a good compromise to buff this ability, but not make it too crazy, and just have it be, when Artemis has her 2 active, she's like S+, and when she doesn't have her 2 active, she's like B-. So then Baba Yaga, decrease the dash cooldown by 2 seconds. I think that's good. Give her a bit more safety. I mean, she does already have a decent amount of crowd control, though, so I don't really know if giving her dash a lower cooldown is really necessary or will really change much, because it is still a pretty interruptible ability. So, I don't know. We'll see. Home Sweet Home, the ult, increases shield health scaling pretty significantly by 10%. So that's pretty massive. That goes off of your health, I think, right? And that's why you get Warlocks on her, I think. So that's a really nice way to have her stop dying quite as quickly, but I think she'll still probably get shredded in her house. But there are a lot more lifesteal options going around nowadays, so that's nice. That does help her out a bit. And then increase the knockback strength. This is if you're on top of her when she ults, you get knocked away from it. So increase the knockback strength pretty significantly, almost by an extra 4th. And I think that's pretty smart. Basically give her a bit more self-peel. You know, so say now you can activate your ult and just actually run away and have people not just be right next to you anyways. So that's helpful. I don't like Baron buffs. I don't know why we're buffing Baron. I think Baron's really solid. He's just below that echelon, but he's extremely flexible. He can be a mid laner, solo laner, support, and they're all really solid. So I don't really like seeing buffs to him, because he can just become absolutely crazy in the right hands. If you hit everything on Baron, he does insane amounts of damage, even if he doesn't really have that much power. So they're going to increase the hysteria applied from basic attacks, and they did it with his pot, which is a thing. So increased hysteria, which is passive, applied from basic attacks, more than doubled. So that's a thing. When you auto attack cancel, you're going to be getting you know, the benefits from applying hysteria to people even quicker. So that's a thing. And then his 1, again, increased hysteria and added power debuff duration to the description. From 3 to 5 seconds. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Trading with Baron is already very difficult, and now that's even harder. And then his 2, the heal, which does not need a cooldown reduction. What? They're reducing that by 2 seconds at level 1, which is absolutely crazy, because, like, it's the thing you level second, right? So, well, the thing is, I mean, some people level the 2 first. I like to level the 1 first. It's up to you. But for me, this is a really good buff as a Baron player, because I leveled the 2 second. So I get 2 seconds less than I do right now in the new patch on his heal, which is a absolutely amazing tool. And the thing is, I get that insane move speed buff even sooner, because I get more hysteria stacks from my 1 in my auto attacks. So, as I'm losing my voice. Wow. Really nice Baron buffs. I'm a little worried that he's going to be kind of crazy in the next patch. He's already really decent in my opinion. So, Daji decreases the cooldown from 13 to 11 seconds on her 2, which makes sense. It's a great mobility tool. It's a great damaging tool. It's great. It's pretty much her only AoE farming tool. So I do think a little bit of a buff to that is a good place to start and try to make Daji a little bit more viable, because she is a really solid character. It's just like she has these certain scenarios where she feels like she can't really do much. So this is good for farming. This is good for getaway. It's good for everything, because this is such a well-rounded ability. Or should I say bloated ability, because her 1 is so is so basic. So basically changing up Hachiman's 1. Increase the ammo count to have 4 at all ranks. Absolutely makes sense. No reason to hold back arrows from him. Decrease the cooldown from 12, and it reduces as you level it, which, okay. I mean, okay. Wasn't really worried about the cooldown of that ability too much. Anyways, I had some nice poke, though. I mean, if you have crit and you activate this ability, everyone on the enemy team is just way back there in their Titan. And then decrease the mana cost to not really necessary because of his passive. Oh, wait, it was 90? Why was it 90? That's weird, but okay. Never mind. I could see them changing the mana cost now because I didn't know it was 90. That's a bit much. Heavenly Banner, increase the physical power scaling by 10%, which is really nice. Definitely going to be clearing waves even quicker now. That's nice. Then increased attack speed to 20%, which is actually even higher. So this is increased by 10% when you go into the flag, because remember, you get the buff when you drop the flag, and then you get the buff a second time when you're inside of the flag. So huge benefit when he's doing objectives. Obviously, I don't think you can reliably get into your flag when you're actually fighting, right? But when you're in objectives, you're going to be getting 40% attack speed. That's awesome. So that's really nice for Hachiman. Really nice little buffs. I don't think this will make him OP or anything, which is awesome. You know, I prefer that when you just buff characters a little bit so they're more in line with the top end characters and not just surpass them because of some stupid change. Like this one. No, I'm kidding. So they decreased the cooldown to 10 seconds. Meh. That's okay. But here's the crazy one. When Pillar of Agony damages an enemy, all of Hades' other abilities have their cooldown reduced by 0.2 seconds. That's nice. That is really nice in case you're not able to blink in and ult. So say you like dash in, dash ult on somebody who doesn't have a dash up or something because you've already blinked in. Say you blink 2-3'd and then like you dash to follow them with the ult. You start ulting them and now your dash cooldown is coming down. Your 2 cooldown, your 3 cooldown. It's all coming down now, and that's why they decreased this a little bit too to benefit even further from the new ability here. That's really nice. So they're really sticking with Hades' kit, huh? So this kind of shows they're not ready to rework this character. They want to stick with this kit, which I think is cool. I think it's a pretty annoying kit, to be honest. It's pretty unfun to go against, especially with the fear, because it's not really a fear. It's like a spin you around whatever direction the game wants you to spin you around in. But whatever, man. Keep sticking with it, I guess, Harez, if you really like him that much. Hebo. Increase the base damage early, which absolutely makes sense. We were playing with some Hebo earlier. I should say the character, like we were playing Hebo. Over the past couple weeks, he doesn't feel great early. It really feels like he can get punished extremely hard early. So I think this is a good change to him. This makes sense. And then not touching the top end, I think, is smart because, of course, this ability does do tons of damage once you start getting items online. So this makes sense. Hell, getting a bunch of changes, which I'm super excited about. I don't think I've ever played her on the channel, but I do really like Hell. So her Dark one got magical power scaling up by 10%. Awesome. More damage, the better. Decrease the mana cost. Absolutely awesome. By 10 mana as well is really helpful. And then, of course, by 10 mana again on her light stance. So helpful for Hell. Because, like, her mana cost... Not her mana cost, but, you know, maybe they should increase her mana pool or something. Because, like, even when you go full MP5, even when you build something like a Book of Thoth, which you really can't do nowadays, especially in Conquest, still feels like you have no mana to play with. It's really not a great feeling. So this is extremely helpful, but of course they don't want to overdo it and make Hell meta again, because when it's Hell meta, it's the Hell meta. I'm very funny. Increase magical power scaling by 5%. Yeah, they don't want to overdo it with this, of course, because Repulse does so much damage, and you can't really miss it. So that makes sense. Argus, yeah, Hera. Increase the magical power scaling on Argus's first hit from 30 to 35. So they're basically increasing Argus's damage. He has a hit chain, if you guys don't remember. He basically hits twice for regular damage, and then his second one slams down pretty hard. His third one slams down pretty hard. This one he uses both fists to slam down like the Hulk, essentially. If you want to put a visual on it. Yeah, that does. He's going to do a lot more damage, which, you know, I don't love. I hate when pets, like, you know, Call Deer and stuff are just like running at you and dealing damage. feels pretty unfun, especially because Argus is so strong as the game goes on. But okay, they want to buff Hera. Maybe don't have Sunder remove shields, idiots. Royal Assault, this is her one. Increase the fist damage, which is the second hit of it, from keeping it the same at the start, but ending with 20 more damage. That's good. You know, increase her clear a little bit. The Jormungandr getting buffs. I don't know why. I hate this character. I hate him so much. But getting an almost a full damage off of every increased for every tick. So that's going to be really nice for some lane presence. And then increase the movement speed significantly to 35%. That's really great. Jormungandr. That's going to feel really good. So this for presence, and then this for getaway or engage. So really helpful. I think that's good. And Kali's seeing some changes. Super excited for this. Absolutely 100% trying her on the channel with the new mannequins. I want to do that so badly right now. I want to play that. That's the number one thing I want to try with this next patch. But okay. Increased her base mana. Decreased the mana on her 1. Increased the damage on her 2, which is her main damage ability. And decreased the mana cost on her 3. Finally. Oh my god, it took so long. She had mana problems for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Like, she used... I think at level 1, she uses like a third of her mana to just to clear buffs and stuff. It's really not fun at all. It was really it was a weird way, I think, of they were trying to balance the character that way, and it just felt terrible to play with. And like you played right through it towards the end game anyways. It was just terrible to play with. And finally, they've changed that, and they've increased the damage on her 2, which I'm not really too sure was necessary because it's always done a lot of damage. But they increased that. I'm hype. I'm totally down to try Kali when she gets these buffs, and with Mannequin too. I think she's gonna be so sweet. All right, Mulan seeing some big changes, which I think is awesome. And bro, I thought Mulan Jungle was pretty good before. It's gonna be crazy with these changes. Increased her health, so she's even tankier now, more of a tank. She didn't really have the best tank stats before. Now she's gonna have even better tank stats. So this is a little they're kind of like buffing the character all around because they're increasing her base health stats, but they're also increasing the physical power scaling per hit on her 1, her most damaging ability, to 30 to 35%. So once this ability is fully leveled, it's going to be doing 105% scaling. Remember when I went trans Mulan and was like one-shining people with my 2-1? Yeah, that's going to be even more of a thing because we're getting 15% extra scaling. Once her 1 is fully maxed and she's doing 3 hits. That's going to be nice. That's going to be real nice. And she's even tankier, so she can fight even more easily and clear camps with a higher percentage of health afterwards. And then Grapple now provides 5% protections in addition to the movement speed when mastered. So you get that permanently, I guess? Oh, wait, that's awesome. Wait, seriously? I actually forgot about that. Wow. That's incredible. Now increase the grapple protections from 20 to 40 to 25 to 45. I think, guys, is this a sheesh? Is Mulan going to be really good now? And I'm actually playing her every game in the jungle. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. I think this is really good for her. Doesn't fix all of her issues. I think she still feels a little clunky, but I think she's going to be hitting really hard with this. Feeling a little bit nicer in lane with this, and then this is just nice. This is just one of those, you just have to have a cigarette after. It's like, that's just nice. That's just a nice thing to have. Odino getting some buffs. Ooh, he feels very dated by this point. With the 2-1 combo, they're basically just bringing the on goodness, guys, on goodness. I didn't think that this scaled down. Did they change that? Because I swear this just had a flat 16-second cooldown, and then the lunge was the one that had cooldown. I remember that from, I think, like Season 4 or something. I don't know if I was just misremembering, but, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But basically, as you level it, this combo comes down in cooldown to 11 seconds, which is really nice for survivability. Odin has problems with dying. He doesn't die often in matches because of the shield, because of the jump. Now it's on an even lower cooldown, so he sort of reinforces what he's already doing with this change, and then increase the physical power scaling on the throw of the spear on the 3 from 50% to 60%. That's nice. I mean, that's all right. I wouldn't say it's exactly what he needs, because I think, moreover, he just feels dated, and then people just buy Phantom against him, the twofer. But that's Odino, you know. He's one of those good old-fashioned fun type characters. Run getting some changes. Increase in magical power scaling from 15% to 25% on his 2. Pretty massive. That's a pretty massive amount of extra damage. It already does a ton of damage, and you only need to hit like half of the ability for it to do some really nice poke damage, because it does have quite a long range. So, really nice change. And then Sanctified Field. Thank God they're reducing the cooldown from 140 to 120 seconds, and then it goes down to 100 seconds. In general, I do feel he also gains 40% crowd control reduction while in this area. That's cool, but I think what needs to happen here is this is a really cool ability, but I do think they really need to rethink exactly what this ability does. The whole slow motion thing, it's so cool. But, dude, they need to make this ability not be 100 seconds, and the only way they do that is by making it not be the whole slow motion thing, and maybe just have it be a slow Kerple field instead while he gains move speed in it, and something like that. I know essentially that just makes it like a better Cupid ult, basically, but just 100 seconds, dude, 2 minutes at rank 1, like, it's so... And it's what he needs in every single team fight. He needs this in every single team fight if he's going to be useful. And it just isn't, because it's a 100-second cooldown. I think they just need to rethink, what this ability does, and then change the cooldown accordingly. And I think Oleron will become significantly better, because he's already really good. When he's able to free cast, he feels awesome. But then he just gets jumped on, and then he just doesn't have his ult to get away and fight. Or, like, initially he doesn't have the ult to fight, and he doesn't feel great then either. So Rat, of course, no boots, so have to change the move speed on these, but he does still gain move speed from these acorns, and it's a little bit extra from what he got before because of that 20%, which is 2% over 18, of course. So now he has 6% over instead of just 2%, so that's extremely helpful. I think Rat might actually, when before everything's figured out, before the meta's figured out, I think Rat's going to be one of those ones that's going to jump up in, power rankings. I think he's going to feel really good before everything's been figured out in the meta. Susano can refire Typhoon while dead. Absolutely awesome. I think this is, if Scylla can do it, then yeah, I think Susano can too. And then Terra, Crushing Earth. Crush me instead, please. Terra can refire Crushing Earth while dead. Makes sense, just little things to normalize certain abilities in certain characters, especially Susano, because this is his ult. So if Scylla can pop her 2, if Iset could pop her ult in her 2, if Terra... I'm a dumbass. This is this patch, moron. Why am I... Whatever. Yeah, so Terra could do it too. That's nice. Thor... I'm actually really losing my voice now. Okay. Increase the radius from 30 to 55. That's almost double the radius, so that's extremely helpful. Especially during chase down. So like when you're chasing someone down and they're just outside of the range on this patch, next patch, they'll be into your range, and maybe say you hit a double tap, and you actually have this buff instead because it's 55 units instead of 30. That could happen. And then increase the physical power scaling to 100% on his ult. That's a little dangerous in a trans meta, don't you think? I think it's definitely still going to be trans meta, by the way, on junglers. So this is a little dangerous, honestly. Let's see, Hieroglyphic Assault. That's his 1. So increase the magical power scaling, 2025, 75. So 75% magical scaling on his 1 now. Yeah, Thoth's just a problem, man. Like, his abilities just go way too far long range, and it's so annoying to try and play around. So, unfortunate, but that's the Thoth. He does need some love. I mean, he's one of the weaker mages right now, so he needs the love. He's just so annoying, though. I don't want to see him meta again. Tiamat, when serpents damage a phoenix or a titan, they take 1 pip of health and damage, so basically 1 hit point. They take 1 hit point, health, and damage, so they can't just solo it themselves while the minions tank it, and decreased the Minotaur lifetime by half. So this is really helpful for this split push. But again, I'm one of those people who thinks it shouldn't have been a thing in the first place. But I mean, this is a nice little way to take it down a peg. And then decreasing the lifetime by half on the Minotaur, because it was just like chasing people around for like 25 minutes. This is helpful. That's nice. Freya, whose name begins with F, by the way, so she should be somewhere up there, is Will RB is having decreased mana costs. I mean, not her problem at all, but I mean, less mana cost is less mana cost, so I'll take it. Increased minion damage on the 1, and then increased minion damage scaling. I mean, she was one-shotting waves with her 2 anyways, right? So I guess if you 2-1, you can full clear, like even earlier. But, like, was anyone really doing that? Like, because it costs too much mana to do that anyways. So, but it does reinforce helping build your passive up as well. So maybe that's the idea there, and you just go Sands of Time, and you 2-1 the waves, so hopefully you get your 2-1 combo up with a full passive sooner. Maybe that's what they're going for there. That makes sense. Did they say something about that in here? Windows. Okay, they didn't actually mention it. I didn't want to seem like I was just reading the paragraph while I was talking, and I was like rephrasing what they were saying. So Omi, making some big changes to Umoja's Omi energy thingy. Umoja no longer needs to gain mana or MP5 to obtain extra Omi. She instead gains 1 Omi at level 6, 11, and 16. Mana and MP5 are now converted to health at a rate of 20%. Don't love that. Don't love that, but 100,000% agree with this. There was no need for her to convert mana to Omi. I mean, that didn't really make sense. It felt kind of shoehorned in. I don't like her gaining free health for no reason, you know? This is like with Kakolan, right? Like, they're having the mana be converted to health for what? Like, they have free, infinite energy sustain, essentially, right? Why are we giving them free goodies, you know? And these two characters, Umoja and Kakolan, are top of the meta for a long time, long periods of time, over and over again. Do you think maybe this is one of the reasons why? Because you're giving them free stats? I don't... And 20% is a lot. Say you get... let's do some maths. Where's my calculator? Hold on. Alright, say you gain 600 gold mana from items. So, then 20%, so 0.2. 120 free health. You're just getting more health than other guardians because, you know, I don't really like that idea. Like, you just have it not affect her, dude. Like, she already has 0 cooldowns and infinite regenerating energy. Is that not powerful enough? Like, that's the benefit of it. You know, that should be the only benefit of it. And if that's too weak, buff that. Don't just give her free stats just because, you know what I mean? So, okay. Bouncing Bubble. There's now a small delay when attempting to spam these abilities back to back. For example, if you use Bouncing Bubble into Moonstrike as fast as possible, there is no delay. If you then attempt to use Bouncing Bubble again as fast as possible, there's a small delay. That makes sense, especially when she was ulting. She would just ult, you know, 1 auto, 1 auto, 1 auto, and just over and over and over again as she was regaining her Omi really fast. But they did increase the base damage a little bit, but they increased the post fire from 0.3 to 0.43. So, okay. I mean, I do think, even with the cooldown increase to River's Rebuke, which is still one of the best abilities in the game, regardless of this change, I do think she's going to be even better after these changes. EBQH. Like, these of course hurt her, but I think this is still giving her a benefit when she's one of the best characters, you know what I mean? So I think she's still going to be an absolutely amazing character. Yeah, let me know what you guys think of these patch notes of the boots change, of the Ratatasker changes, Mulan Kali changes, which I'm super excited for. The Hades change was really cool. Let's see what else we got here. The Tainted Steel change. Yeah, the War Flag change as well. Do you think Death's Toll will be picked up? Do you think Mystical will be too OP? Oh, do you hate Sunder as much as I do? Oh, do you like that new Bracer item as well? And I'll just leave you guys with this, just because I'm such a nice guy. I'm just going to, you know. Can I go even... I can't go any further than that?